Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and we're kicking off the 2013 NFL season with our AFC West preview. But first, we're going to give you our AFC West all-conference team. So let's start this video off by naming the starting quarterback on our list.
Despite missing a season with a neck injury, Peyton Manning picked up right where he left off by leading the Broncos to the AFC divisional playoff game and putting up record numbers in the process. Despite the nagging injuries throughout the course of his career, when healthy, Darren McFadden is one of the more explosive running backs in the league and clearly one of the best running backs in the AFC West. Fast would be an understatement to describe Jamaal Charles. When he starts a full 16-game season, the Chiefs are a better team on the ground. In his short career, Charles has rushed for over 4,500 yards and 17 touchdowns. Wes Welker is a new addition to the AFC West, signing with the Denver Broncos in the offseason. And here's a guy in just 7 years with the Patriots has caught 672 passes. That's insane numbers. Teamed up with Peyton Manning last season for the first year, Demaryius Thomas had his breakout campaign, catching over 90 passes for 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. People continue to knock Antonio Gates because of his blocking ability, but I don't need him to block. I need him to catch the football, and that's something he has done well over the course of his career, making him one of the best tight ends in football history. You can't get any more all-purpose than Marcel Reese for the Oakland Raiders. Here's a guy that can line up as a fullback, be a devastating blocker, and can catch the football out of the backfield. You can flex him out as an H-back, and he'll do fine. You can even split him out as a wide receiver, and he can catch the football deep down the field. So this is a guy that you want on your team because he's the jack of all trades. Ryan Clady makes our list as our starting left tackle. The three-time Pro Bowler and two-time first-team All-Pro did an excellent job last season protecting the blind side of Peyton Manning. Guard Zane Beadle's arrow is pointing in the right direction as this guy is looking to make his first Pro Bowl bid this season as he's doing some outstanding work for that Broncos interior offensive line. One of the better picks of the Oakland Raiders in recent years, in my opinion, Stefan Wisniewski is going to be a guy that you're going to hear about for a long time, making multiple Pro Bowls and multiple All-Pro team appearances. Despite an injury last year that only limited him to 3 games, I still feel as though Rodney Hudson is one of the better young offensive linemen in the AFC West. Look at a guy that starts at center for the Kansas City Chiefs, but I listed him as a guard because he can play that just as good. And Brendan Albert rounds out my starting 5 offensive linemen. Whether it's a left tackle or right tackle, he's definitely one of the better offensive linemen in this game. Now let's take a look at the second team offense on this preseason all-conference team led by Phillip Rivers, who I still think is a very good quarterback, has to make better decisions. But when you look at the offensive line, a lot of young talent on this list, and I think Jared Bell here, the tackle for the Oakland Raiders, is on the cusp of being a perennial Pro Bowler. And we look at all-purpose player Danny Woodhead coming over from the New England Patriots. I think he's a guy that's going to get a lot more carries than people expect, and he will definitely produce because he's a very good player. Corey Liuget had a breakout season as a second-year player coming out of Illinois. Here's a guy that had 7 sacks, 50 tackles, and was a constant nuisance up front for opposing offenses. The Raiders have done a great job overhauling their roster, and one signing of note is Pat Sims coming over from the Cincinnati Bengals. The Raiders need help stopping the run, and this is a guy that's one of the better run defenders in the league. While it may not always end in sacks, Kevin Vickerson's impact on the defensive line with penetration is one of note, which is why he makes our list as one of our starting defensive tackles. Lamar Houston has done a yeoman's job for the Oakland Raiders at the defensive end position. Here's a guy that I think would be a better defensive tackle. So technically he's playing out of position, but still, all in all, a very good player. One of the best pure pass rushers in the game right now, Von Miller had 18.5 sacks last season for the Denver Broncos and quietly improved in his coverage ability, which is going to make him that much more dangerous moving forward. And from a pure versatility perspective, Derek Johnson is probably the best linebacker in the game with that aspect. This is a guy that can play the run as well as he can play the pass and is always making impact plays for that Chiefs defense. Justin Houston started to come on late in 2011, and 2012 was his breakout season with 10 sacks, and the sky is the limit for what this guy can bring to the table as an outside edge rusher. The playoff game versus the Baltimore Ravens aside, I still wouldn't throw it to Champ Bailey's side. 52 career interceptions, 12-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro. Definitely earns you a spot as a first-team cornerback on our list. Entering his 6th season in Kansas City, it's a crime that Brandon Flowers hasn't made a Pro Bowl, as his career has blossomed over the course of his career, pun intended. Eric Weddle is definitely one of the better young safeties in the league. Here's a guy whose instincts and recovery speed makes him a difference maker on the back end of that Chargers defense. First year back from injury, Eric Berry started to round into form toward the latter part of the season, so 2013 should be another banner year for the playmaking safety. Now let's take a look at the second team defense for the AFC West preseason all-conference team. When you look at Derek Wolfe and what he did as a rookie was very impressive for the Broncos, but his teammate Mitch Unrein was very underrated in what he brought to the table as a pass rusher as well as a run defender. Tom Bailey leads the linebacking core along with Wesley Woodyard, a guy that finally got his opportunity to start and proved to be a huge asset to that Broncos linebacking unit. And Chris Harris, Sean Smith, very good corners. Raheem Moore gets a lot of flack for what happened in the playoff game, but quietly last year he put up very good numbers and played some very good football. Quiet as kept, Sebastian Janikowski has gotten better each and every year throughout the course of his 13-year NFL career. Now here's a guy that last year hit on 91% of his field goal attempts and still has one of the strongest legs in the league. Dustin Colquitt of the Kansas City Chiefs has been a productive player throughout the course of his career, and last year for the Chiefs he finally made his first Pro Bowl appearance, booming punts for over 46 yards a kick. What a pickup Trendon Holiday was for the Denver Broncos last season. Here's a guy that scored 2 touchdowns on returns last year and averaged 32.5 yards a kickoff return. Michael Spurlock only played in 7 games last season for the Chargers, but made his presence felt by taking back a kickoff and a punt return for touchdowns. Tywan Jones' straight line speed allows him to be a factor on the coverage unit, which is why he makes our team as our special teams ace, because he's dangerous on kickoff and punt coverage. A key offensive rookie in the AFC West will be DJ Fluker of the San Diego Chargers. We know how much the offensive line had issues last season, and during the draft, a lot of tackles were coming off the board, so the Chargers had to reach for Fluker, who I still think will be a valuable player either at the left tackle spot or the right tackle position, but he's going to have a big season as a rookie. The key defensive rookie in this division will be DJ Hayden for the Oakland Raiders. We heard about how close he came to death during his season at Houston, but when he's healthy, when he was out there, he was a difference maker. This is the guy that the Raiders are counting on to be their top cornerback this season. Now let's take a look at this coaching staff for this AFC West preseason all-conference team. A great list of coaches here. John Fox is the head coach. Solid job throughout the course of his career with the Giants as a position coach, as a head coach with the Panthers, and now as a head coach with the Denver Broncos. Look at the position coaches. You see some guys that are excellent. Eric Bieniemy is an excellent running backs coach, as well as Tyke Tolbert of the Denver Broncos, great wide receiver coach. Even Emmett Thomas of the Chiefs, very good defensive back coach, and Bobby Abrams, one of the best special teams coaches in the league.